Lily Bowen is one of the most tragic yet oddly heartwarming characters in Fallout New Vegas. Her story is one of survival, loss, and the unrelenting fight to hold on to what makes us human. Born in Vault 17 in 2078, just a year after the Great War, she lived a simple, sheltered life. She married her childhood sweetheart, whom she'd shared her first kiss with in the Vault cafeteria. Together, they raised a child, and Lily eventually became a grandmother to two wonderful children, Jimmy and Becky. Life in the Vault was peaceful, quaint even, but this tranquility wouldn't last. In 2153, when Lily was 75 years old, Unity, led by the Master in his search for prime normals, raided Vault 17. Lily was dragged outside where she saw the sun for the very first time, but the beauty didn't last, as she and the other survivors were soon taken to the Mariposa Military Base and dipped into the Forced Evolutionary Virus. Emerging as a super mutant, Lily was physically altered. She was shorter than the average mutant due to her age, but she was intelligent and powerful. As for her family, they were either killed during the invasion or transformed into mutants and lost all memory of their past lives. As a super mutant, Lily was forced to serve the Master, who she didn't like, but she had no other choice, and due to her intelligence and strength, she became one of the Master's elite. Her role often involved espionage and/or assassination, requiring her to use pre-war stealth boy technology on a daily basis, a tool that altered the user's brain chemistry, leading to herself and the other super mutants becoming Nightkin, suffering with schizophrenia, hallucinations, and multiple personalities. Lily's other personality was Leo, an aggressive and dominating voice that truly believed he was trapped inside Lily's body and was constantly trying to escape. For a time, the Master's telepathic influence kept mutants like Lily somewhat stable, but after his death, the surviving Nightkin fell into disarray. Without the Master's guidance, their fractured minds spiraled out of control. Many continued to support the Master, not knowing what else to do. Others sought out more stealth boys to feed their addiction. Few found new Masters, and some, like Lily, decided it was time to go home. Lily spent the next 80 years searching for Vault 17, hoping to find remnants of her family or reclaim a sense of belonging. During her travels, she stumbled upon the wreckage of an Enclave vertibird near Klamath. The aircraft, flown by Daisy Whitman, had been abandoned after the crash, and Leo convinced Lily to rip off one of the rotary blades, forging it into a weapon that she then carried for another 40 years. During this century-long pilgrimage, Lily's sense of self became fragmented, and her mental instability manifested in various ways. To cope, she began wearing a sun hat and sunglasses. While practical for shielding her sensitive eyes from the harsh wasteland sun, these items also symbolized her need to feel unseen, a way to reclaim the comforts of invisibility that the stealth boys had provided. The sun hat and glasses were small, but significant reminders of her ongoing battle to find peace in a body and mind that no longer felt like her own. Despite her determination, Lily never found Vault 17. Her mind, fractured by stealth boy use and Leo's influence, made it impossible for her to remember where the vault was, and where she'd already been. So at long last, after 120 years of searching, Lily gave up. But giving up led her to discovering something special. Jacobstown, a haven for super mutants and Nightkin, led by Marcus, a first-generation super mutant with a vision for coexistence between mutants and humans, a different kind of unity. Here, Lily found some semblance of peace, taking on the role of a shepherd for the town's bighorners. These animals, while cute and ornery, reminded her of her grandchildren, a connection that brought her moments of joy. But Leo's intrusive presence made daily life a challenge for Lily. It was after one specific episode, where Lily regained control, only to find several of her bighorners dead. Horrified, she immediately blamed Leo. He of course denied having anything to do with their deaths, but she didn't believe him. Nevertheless, her doubts began to waver when night stalkers, half coyote, half snake abominations created by the scientists at Big Mountain, were spotted near Jacobstown. Creatures with a mutation similar to Stealth Boy technology. A painful reminder for the Nightkin that their service to the Master was the source of all their troubles. Years of being subjected to Stealth Boy radiation had altered their minds. They had grown so used to being unseen that without that technology they felt exposed, a feeling that drove them insane. Marcus saw that if he didn't do something about their condition, then they would live in misery until death. But as much as he was willing to help, he was unable to. However, as fate would have it, there was someone who could help. Dr. Henry, a former Enclave scientist and specialist in both canine and human neurology. Due to his ethical leanings clashing with the Enclave higher-ups, Henry abandoned his station, fleeing to greener pastures. And it's a good thing he did, because not long after he left, Control Station Enclave was destroyed by the Chosen One. And it was thanks to his decision to leave that he was now in the right place at the right time. But it was Marcus's forward thinking that allowed him to enter Jacobstown and help the Nightkin. Upon hearing about this strange doctor, Lily was the first to volunteer, as she desperately wanted to get rid of Leo and find her way home. Now it's important to note that not all Nightkin experience the same conditions. Almost all of them suffer with schizophrenia, but very few have multiple personalities. Dog, Davison, and Lily are just a few examples of this. A condition Henry could easily cure with antipsychotic chems, a solution he both had and gave to Lily. While this medication was taking effect, Lily began helping Henry develop a cure for the epidemic of schizophrenia among the Nightkin. According to Henry, there were two ways he could potentially develop a cure. The first was figuring out how the Night Stalker's natural cloaking ability worked and take advantage of that. Although, after sending Lily with the Courier to learn more, they discovered that the creature's natural ability was actually the result of the creatures chewing on a pre-war Stealth Boy, a device dropped by a dead Nightkin. So that wasn't going to work, meaning in actuality there was only one other way for Henry to learn more about the Nightkin's condition, and that was to let Lily use a modified Stealth Boy Mark II prototype, rile her up for the best possible results, and hope her condition didn't get any worse. Fortunately, the test didn't change Lily in any significant way, and the research would help towards finding a cure. But to reach that cure, the test would have to be done however many more times it would take. And while Lily was willing, her mind simply wouldn't last. But there was something else Henry could do instead of putting Lily in danger. An idea provided to him by the Courier. And that was to use a Stealth Boy on the brain of a Night Stalker. Canine neurology, Henry understood, data he could potentially use and translate, so to speak, over to the Nightkin. An idea he was willing to pursue. With that, Lily was free to live her life without putting herself in harm's way. She provided Henry with valuable research to help the other Nightkin, and she had the means to help herself, the antipsychotic chems. So this should have been the end of Leo. But this medication caused her to forget certain things about her old life, especially her grandchildren, and she was, understandably, unwilling to part ways with those memories. So she started secretly half-dosing and listening to an old holotape of her grandchildren, willing herself to remember them as best she could.
Grandma's here! Yay!
Oh my goodness, look at these little angels. Becky, that dress looks so lovely. And Jimmy, oh my word, how you've grown.
By half-dosing and listening to the holotape, Lily was able to hold on to her humanity, but she only delayed the inevitable. One way or another, she needed to make a choice. And this is where the Courier, who Lily believed was her sweet grandson Jimmy, helped her make that choice. but the outcome of that choice has yet to be said. If Lily was encouraged to take her medication correctly, her mind will eventually attain a trace of clarity. Her old memories, erased by the medicine, will cause her to throw away the holotape, as the voices inside no longer mean anything to her. In a sense, she has lost her humanity, but at the very least, she is stable. But if Lily were to continue taking her medication in half doses, she will remember her grandchildren, but will still be conflicted and confused. Ultimately, she'll part ways with Jacobstown and travel back west, continuing her fruitless endeavor to find Vault 17. On the other hand, if Lily stops taking her medication altogether, her instabilities will worsen with each passing day. Eventually, she'll become little more than a ravenous beast, as Leo takes full control, trapping her beneath the surface. And there is, of course, the fourth outcome, where Lily dies before making a decision, either dying while traveling with the Courier, or getting killed by the Night Stalkers while defending her Bighorners, in which case Lily's long life finally comes to an end, and as the life fades from her, her last thoughts will be of her grandchildren. No matter which path she takes, there's always a sense of loss, whether it's her forgetting her old self, continuing her search for Vault 17, or being replaced by Leo. The outcome feels unfinished, and perhaps that's because Lily can never truly be at peace. Sure, she can take her medication and bury Leo, but she forgets her true self. The location of Vault 17 is lost, along with the memories of her old life. In the end, Lily's story is all about holding on to the things that makes us human, even in a world that's forgotten what that means. She's lost so much, her family, her memories, and even her own mind at times, but she keeps going. And even if her journey feels unfinished, then maybe that's just the reality of a life like hers. Rough, broken, but never giving up. So I think her story is proof that some parts of us stay strong, even when everything else fades away.